Tails, we're good. I don't know if that's good. Probably not. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Batman the Fan-imated stream. I am, of course, Dave. And hey, look at this. I got two co-hosts today. Scott and Callum McClellan. What's going on?
It's double the trouble. It's double your fun.
You want to explain why we have a special guest today?
Because I have kids and someone has to watch them.
Well, yeah. So
and we're doing it in 4 o'clock.
We're doing it early today, because we both actually have plans later. You have a birthday to go to. I have a birthday to go to. So we had to bump this pretty early today. So, yep, that was right in the middle of nap time, or it was supposed to be in the middle of nap time.
It was supposed to be in the middle of nap time, and somebody.
You wanted to talk Two-Face too, man. Maybe it's his favorite villain. It could be.
Oh, it could be.
How's it going, Mom? We got Jason here too. All right, as we follow in. But yeah, thank you guys for, of course, clicking in to the episode. We are going to be talking about, of course, Two-Face Part 2. Now, the time jump in this episode. It's 6. Is it 6 months?
It's 6 months. Yeah. And I was asking myself, what's the time jump? Yeah. And then thankfully, Rupert Thorne, 6 months of this is enough.
That's right.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, because I remember when I left it playing last week, I thought I heard that. And then for some reason, I didn't catch it this time because I was like typing stuff. But yeah, 6 month jump in this one. What's going on?
Which is weird to think about because it's like, you really got to think this series covers a lot of time.
It really does.
If you can jump half a year in between a part 1 and a part 2.
I know, it's very interesting. So, but you know, what could you do? And then then the things that are in this episode too, you're going like, has there just been 6 months of this? So pretty much Two-Face has been roaming around Gotham and Bruce has been having nightmares for 6 months. It seems like it's been a rough 6 months. That's for
sure. And but I like the fact that it's been 6 months because, you know, Harvey's had a chance to get a crew and a tailor. And
a hideout.
Yeah. I mean, at least with 6 months, I could actually, that's plausible. Like all that could happen in 6 months.
Yeah. I just feel sorry for Bruce. That's for sure. I feel sorry for Bruce. I think Callum agrees with me, but yeah. So it opens up where Harvey and his henchmen, the twin henchmen, which by the way, the voice of the henchman.
I was not familiar with
it. People say we're monkeying around. Yeah, it's Mickey Dolenz apparently.
Oh man! Well, did you catch the henchmen's names?
No, I didn't catch the names.
Min and Max.
Min and Max.
So it was like minimum and maximum because we're talking about averages.
Ah, wow! Did not even
math joke.
Wow! Look at that! Damn! Watch out! Just top notch, right there. So, of course, naturally, when it comes to Harvey, he can. By the way, my mom is the one that told me that.
Dave, it is known.
Yeah, it's known that I don't catch the voices sometimes. But maybe, I think one time maybe I caught.
I'm sorry, something. Monkeys.
Yeah.
Dave.
Oh no, I was a Monkeys fan, dude. Oh yeah,
you were okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I watched the TV show and everything. I love the Monkeys.
I am so proud of you. I'm actually you've grown. Today you have become a man.
There you go. I feel like I'm getting knighted right now. Yeah, like I think the very first concert I ever like really went to was at a fair, and it was the Monkeys. I'm sure that it's like it's a memory that's like lodged in there somewhere. So, right? Yeah. See, he wants to listen to the Monkeys too. People say they monkey around. Yeah. They're too busy singing.
I'm a believer.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, let's do that after we have Batman the Fan-imated stream. Let's do the Monkeys next. The Monkeys show. I remember that was like such a thing back then. It was like you had a popular band, you had to make a TV show. What was?
Yeah, absolutely. Partridge Family.
Yeah, and what was the whole point of their TV show? Really, I'm trying to remember. I know it was just a lot of goofiness, but I don't remember. They were a band in the TV show, right?
Yeah, because they were traveling around, and they would get into shenanigans wherever they'd stop to do a show. Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Well, there you go. There's your monkeys talk right there. So of course they get to Rupert Thorne's bookie joint, and Harvey can't decide if he wants to leave it alone or not. So of course he flips the coin in that awesome a better flip than what I did at the beginning of this. That obviously we were talking about that last week, how they emphasize the flipping and the sound effects and everything. And I love that too, because there's actually something in this episode where I was like, not everything needs to be like, so emphasized, but we'll get to that point.
Well,
but
I also thought it was interesting that the show never really explains why, why he flips the coin to make the decision, but it never really delves deep. I know, right? It never really delves deep into like the psychological underpinning of why. It's just, okay, this is his shtick. Go with it.
Yeah, you'll see what he's doing. Bad sides, good sides. Bad heads, good heads, whatever.
Because you never see him you never see him scratch the coin. The coin's just there.
You never see him where did that coin come to be, which is always very interesting too, because I mean, obviously that coin is significant as we'll see at the end of this episode. But it's it is interesting. It's okay, so does he just get a new coin and later on, all right, I'm just gonna scratch up another two-headed coin. Is that what he does? I don't know. Yeah,
I would think because there's nothing special. It's not like Dark Knight where the coin's his dad's coin. It has a story. It was always just a silver dollar in this show.
And what was kind of cool, what I liked what Nolan did was the fact that because he got lit up on fire and blew up and stuff like that, the coin got singed on one side.
Yes.
So that was kind of cool that he did it like that when it came to Two-Face's coin. So you got the twin henchmen. And then one of the henchmen wants to, when they're holding up the bookie place, somebody has a nice little fancy ring, and Harvey he's no jewelry, and he has to flip for the jewelry because he came strictly for the money. Jewelry was a whole different decision he had to make, and of course it landed on good heads. So he says,
well, because also is almost not quite a Robin Hood aspect to this, but Harvey's only doing this to get back at Thorne.
Yeah,
he's not there to harm, quote unquote, civilians. It's if you take that guy's ring, that's not hurting Thorne and his operations. So I like the idea that, like you said, it's a separate decision, and he's like, no, not going to take it.
Yep. Yeah. Coin says no, but he's not going to leave without shooting out the monitors, showing all the sporting events and stuff like that. So
I saw horses.
Of course there's horses. I mean, that just you had a bookie right there. So apparently he sold 200K, because then we go to Rupert Thorne, and of course he's pissed off. He
is.
Yes, he gets a lot. He gets pretty pissed off in this episode, that's for sure. But I love there's a line in here where he goes when we got to stop him. He goes well, somebody says something I totally forgot, but he goes somebody says we created. I think it's Candace that says it.
I think it's Candace. Stop him. We created him.
We created him. Yeah. And I'm like, that's true. That's a pretty good line. And I was like, yeah, good on her for realizing that. And then of course, Thorne puts on a hit for Harvey. And he first says $1 million. Then he goes, no, $2 million. One for each face. And
I like the way John Vernon delivers that, because it's oh no, I'm doing something that's ridiculous, but I'm making a point. It's those kind of one-liners I think we were talking about last week, where they're being a little jokey and ridiculous about it. Stop it. No, you don't get to say that. But it's delivered with a certain level of what's the sincerity to it, because even Thorne's like, no, this will make it even more
ridiculous,
sweet.
Yeah, there's something about it. It's like he kind of smiles to himself, making that little joke right there. I guess you sort of pun. And then we cut to a nightmare, because we had some nightmares in the first one, but this time it's from Bruce's subconscious, I guess you could say, and it's just Harvey running away from Batman, and of course Batman's trying to help Harvey, wants to help Harvey, and it's a pretty good say. I actually wish I had the clip, but for some reason I couldn't find that clip for this particular nightmare scene. At first you think maybe it's Harvey, but no, it's actually Bruce that's doing. So they get on top, there's a bridge, one of those bridges that look, of course, scary as all hell. And this whole thing about like Harvey says like, no, you couldn't save me or something like that, where he's just, it's dramatic. It's a pretty good scene.
Yeah, sorry, trying to get to my mic. I was like, I'm gonna let Dave talk and not have Callum like the whole time. But no, like I call it like the Temple of Doom Bridge. Is what I like to call it.
There you go. Perfect.
But I do like your point that you start off and you're not sure whose dream. You know it's a dream, but you don't know whose dream it is. And I think it just once again shows how this show really pays great tribute to Bruce's psychology and his mental issues, and how like this is eating him up inside.
This even like right here, I mean, he falls and then Bruce wakes up, he's in the Batcave, and then I mean, you really, like you said, you did really dive into his guilt, because before, when Harvey is falling, then all of a sudden you see his parents in the alleyway, and then they're like, Thomas goes, you couldn't save us, or something in the long lines of that, like you couldn't save us. So yeah, of course, naturally it's going to fit into his old demons, new demons, old demons. So that's why I'm kind of going, geez, has he been doing 6 months of this? 6 months of nightmares? I mean, that's got to be a little taxing for Brucey.
Oh yeah, but I like it how it's his drive that his guilt is not being able to save people. Yeah. And it's a great thing, because it's like that's his motivation. His motivation is to save people, like he couldn't save his parents. You know, it was interesting because like when we did the Scarecrow episode, that one was a fear of not living up to his parents, disappointing his parents, disappointing his father. And this is, I feel like, more what they settle on, which is the not being able to save everyone, which I think is a little bit more accurate to what his psychological motivation and his drive is really through the rest of the series.
Whoop. That's right, Callum. I agree with you. And then speaking of like psychology, now we see a little spread of like books, and you could tell like for the past like 6 months, basically Bruce has been trying to learn everything he can about Harvey's situation. So we get like that pan, and then all of a sudden he starts talking to himself. It's actually a pretty good scene, because Bruce feels so guilty that he basically is talking to Harvey just out loud, and he goes, I'm wondering what you're having right now. Are you having a good dream? Are you having a nightmare? Possibly both. You know, it's a cool little dramatic scene of where Bruce is at right now. And psychologically, he's not in good shape. So I like it. Anyways, then so speaking of overemphasizing like something, so we cut to Grace. She's looking at a picture of Harvey. That is one big ass teardrop that comes out of her face.
Oh my God! It also, oh no! It also ties into that downpour that happens at the end of the episode, because it's like, But no,
with that.
But I'm glad they also didn't leave Grace alone. Like a lesser show would have
just
like she's done. Like she's done her. But she was there to do like the big monster scream at the end of part 1. But I like the fact that they didn't write her off. Now, I do hate the fact that she kind of gets written off for the rest of the series. Like she never comes up again. But at least for this 2-parter, I feel like they did well by her character.
They did. They definitely did. But I just noticed, I'm like, man, that teardrop going bloop, and you actually hear that noise. And it's just like, that was a little overdone, but it's okay. So then we get Detective Leopold, which we already know is Candace, that shows up at her door, says that, hey, Harvey should probably get in contact with you. I mean, it's been 6 months, but any day now he might contact you. Which of course, after Candace and this fake cop, one of the henchmen or whatever leaves, we actually do see Harvey pull up, and we get that dramatic, rolling down the window, see just the eyes, and then rolls back up and drives away. So Harvey definitely does miss Grace, which is, it's a good part of the story, a good part of his character. So
also, and then, it also works to humanize him very much, which is another thing the series does really well. in the good episodes is you do tend to have a sympathy or an empathy for the villains because they're treated like people and they're not, which is like some of these early Joker episodes has kind of been our criticism, is that he's just there to be
goofy and Batman. And it's mainly that. And then I love how, like, even when the window rolls down, you just get that theme again. Shirley Walker and her theme. We can't stop talking about her theme, but that I can't even emphasize. I don't. How does it's like a whistle, like the theme. Like
I was trying to figure out, is it a recorder or is it a flute? It almost sounds like those little recorders you'd get like in band class, like in elementary school.
Yeah, it's so good though. Anytime, just little moments like that, it's a Two-Face theme. So. Harvey is of course counting money. His henchmen are being kind of greedy, and he actually had a good line in there because obviously he was the DA, and he says, like, you guys were just as greedy when I put you away, blah 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 blah. So it's kind of funny how now he's on the other side of that, where like once he put these guys away and now he's working with them, but he still doesn't like them. He's still like, yeah, you guys suck, that, right?
Funny Easter egg. I never spotted this before. So he pulls out his wallet to put a portion of his take into his wallet. Look on the right side of his wallet. He has a credit card, and the name on the card is its issue to Two-Face.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. I didn't notice that.
And I'm just sitting here going, okay, one, who issues a credit card to Two-Face? And two, what animator thought that was funny to do that?
Oh, somebody put that in there, and they're probably laughing their asses off. They're like, hey,
you better believe it.
It got passed. Nobody saw it. That's good. Good job, man. But so when he puts a take in his wallet, he sees a picture of Grace, and then he finally, he does like a little this was kind of interesting because he does the, of course, he's going to pull out the coin, and right as he flips, it just cuts to the phone ringing. So I thought that was kind of cool, the way that went like that, where instead of just like we see what happens, it just immediately cuts to her phone ringing, him calling her. So I don't know. For me, I was just like, it was just a nice little cool little edit right there. Well,
it's because how many times do we need to see him flip a coin? It's like at this point, we know what he's doing. Yeah. So let's just visually, let's narratively shortcut to, obviously he flipped the coin, he got good heads, so he called. And I like that economy of storytelling. Once again, it's the series taking its audience seriously and going, oh, they're smart enough to, like, they can put 2 to 2 together about like what happened. We don't have to hold their hand and walk them through this narrative step again.
Yeah. And then speaking of like twos, this part kind of was weird though, because we're back in the Batcave and Batman and Alfred are looking at the places that he's taken, and like Gemini something and two. I mean, there's like things that have twos in it, and I'm kind of going, all right, is that a coincidence? I mean, it was just kind of like a weird thing that they were trying to do. Like, oh, he's going after all these places that have twos in them, but they're fronts for Rupert Thorne. And then Batman goes, but he's run out of places or something like that. I'm going, all right, I see what you guys try to do there, but it kind of just didn't. Well, for me, it just didn't kind of work. I don't know.
No, it's a little bit of we tried to go a little too comic booky and tried to play out the Two-Face shtick a little too far. I'm there with you. It didn't bother me, but it's not as smooth as say other things in this episode.
Yeah, I mean,
and also, who has that many establishments that have twos?
That was my main thing. That was my main thing. I'm like, how does this Rupert Thorne like having putting twos in his fronts? That would kind of be stupid because then people could easily track that. But to me, it was like they were trying to do a Riddler thing. That seems like more like a Riddler thing because Riddler always has a meaning for every little place that he goes to, it seems. So I was always like, save that for the Riddler. They don't need that for Two-Face. We're good.
Well, hey, even the bookie joint he busts up in the beginning. I mean, what was its address? It was 222.
Yeah. It's like, all right, we get it, guys. We get it. So, and then we see Batman. This time, he's not going to get in the Batmobile. He's going to go on the Bat bike, which I love his helmet.
First appearance of the Bat's bike so far.
I think so. Yeah.
I always wondered, and this is something I would be interested to maybe keep track of as we go through these episodes, is when, why the bike and not the Batmobile? Like, when do you need the motorcycle? When do you need the car?
Because Scott, toys.
Oh well, I got that. I got that. I mean, I'm not arguing about the bike, but why in this episode did it need to be the bike?
Yeah, especially since it's raining later.
Thank you. That was one of my that's always been a pet peeve of mine. It was in my notes. It's like, oh, seriously, in this torrential downpour and you're riding the bat cycle? Seriously?
That's not smart.
However, for the win, bat ears on his motorcycle helmet.
Yes, that's what's great. I mean, the bat helmet almost looks like his armored helmet, like, you know, the Dark Knight Returns armored helmet. So it is cool. Yeah, I always dug the helmet. And then so Batman tracks down where Harvey is, which they're trying to find these files that, of course, would put Rupert Thorne away. So again, like you were saying, I mean, even though Harvey needs to be essentially stopped, he's still doing his job and trying to get rid of a bad guy. You know, he's doing his own brand of vigilanteism, I guess you could say, like you said. So that's what's really cool about this. And Batman, of course, intervenes. And, you know, there's a nice little fight that happens where, well, Batman doesn't walk away to, doesn't, for anybody listening right now, Scott's like, he's got two stuffed animals. He's got a Batman stuffed animal, which of course, yeah, see, it's awesome. No, but yeah, so when Batman intervenes, we have like this whole fight out thing. And then Harvey, or let's see, where are my notes here? See, I'm still losing my spot, even though I'm doing it digitally now. Let's see.
I still love the fact that the lawyer's name is Doubleday.
There we go. It's a good name. I like it.
It's a good name. But I made the same observation that you did, is by the fact that there's part of me that goes, really, these two crooks are just trying to take each other out. How about you just kind of see how it plays out?
Pretty much. I mean, it does feel like it's just let it play out. But I know he wants to help Harvey. He tries to reason with him, and he brings up Grace, of course. And, you know, Harvey doesn't know that it's Bruce that he's actually talking to, because he even goes like, what do you know about me? And just kind of tells him like, you know, who are you? You don't know who I am. But, you know, obviously he knows a lot about him. And then he brings up Grace, and he says that she still loves you and blah, blah, blah. And then Harvey knocks down Batman. It's kind of funny because, well, he does that whole thing. And this happens to Batman a lot throughout the series, where somebody like hits that sweet spot, like on either the back of his head or his neck. And, you know, he just kind of, and falls forward.
At some points, like, can you put some armor there? I'm just a suggestion. It's like how Frank Miller said that the oval.
Yeah. See?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's how Frank Miller said the oval was reinforced. I'm really starting to think that, like, the base of his skull, he needs a little something there.
That's a soft spot for Batman. It really is, because, yeah, Harvey gives like a good little double-fisted little smack right there. Doesn't knock him out, but knocks him down. And then when Batman gets out into the hallway, grabs onto Harvey. Harvey gives him a nice little, this is Sparta, and kicks him right into the janitor's cart.
I know, but Batman grabbed a chunk of his coat to go with him, because I'm like, what coat rips that easily? But it apparently takes out like the inside pocket, like the inside jacket pocket.
You got to realize, Scott, I mean, the grip, like, Batman has strong grip power. How else do you think he just, like, you know, swings around like that and holds on to ledges? That grip strength is like.
So he doesn't miss leg day, but he's also got like one of those little stress things where he's constantly working his hand strength. I see. Right.
Stress ball. He probably has a stress ball everywhere. We just don't see it. You know, he doesn't. We want to seem that he's you know, actually doing that. But yeah, he's got one of those things that you squeeze together to get that grip strength. But yeah, so this time he does get knocked out, and the janitor wakes him up. And yeah, I mean, Harvey gave him a pretty swift kick, because now we got a Batman with possibly a broken rib or a fractured rib, or just maybe just heavily bruised ribs. But he's hurting. He's hurting, folks. Harvey hurt the Batman. How dare he? Jeez. But so yeah, I even wrote that Harvey Sparta kicks Batman into the janitor's cart.
This is Gotham.
Yeah, I know, pretty much. So and then cut to driving around again, and Harvey sees a wedding store. What do they call those? Wedding stores? What do they call wedding store places? You guys know what I'm talking about. Isn't there a specific thing?
I don't even know. Yeah. I mean, honestly, normally there's like the.
Oh no!
Stop it! You know, he's so upset by Two-Face's, you know, he is psychologically just by Two-Face's, path to crime. It's really upsetting to him.
It really is. Callum understands. He understands. So, but he sees like that, and of course, it makes him feel sad and miss Grace again. And then, okay, so I was actually wrong. It wasn't back when he flipped that other coin. It was this time when he flipped the coin to call Grace. I had that wrong. Sorry about that. So yeah, this time he does call Grace, and of course, Grace brings the tracer, and Thorne finds. Then we cut the Thorne. Thorne finds out that his that file that could send him to jail is now stolen, and now he's super pissed. Where he's again we see a Rupert Thorne pissed. Is he standing up there?
No. Oh. Mommy came and got him.
Thanks, Mom. But anyway, so we're at this part right here where we get Rupee upset again.
Absolutely, and it's just. Once again, I love it how like when Candace gave Grace the little tracker device
again, overdone, beep 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 beep.
I mean, yeah, well, there's also like a full like keypad. It's like, does she just have to press like one button? I mean, it's just, does it need to look like a cell phone?
Seriously? I know, right? It does look like a frick. Oh my god, I know. And then of course she triggers it, and then when Rupert Thorne is getting all pissed off, it starts going off ridiculously, and Candace's purse, which beep beep beep, and then she doesn't she say something, Thorne? No, Candace's purse. I thought she said something right there. I forgot exactly what she said. I meant to write it down, but I don't think I did. I wrote down the hideout, which is called the Wild Deuce, of course.
Of course. Once again, the twos. Lots of twos. I mean, seriously, people. Can we work on our naming here in Gotham?
Nah, no. It's like, again, when it comes to a layer, you're looking for Two-Face. Maybe Batman, you broke it down. You guys, you and Alfred broke it down that he was knocking off Rupert Thorne's fronts that were all in twos. Maybe start looking around at places that have twos in them, that possibly where he's hiding.
I know, right? Yeah. I will say, however, so, Min and Max bring Grace to the Wild Deuce. Mm-hmm. And then she walks into it. I did always think it was cool how like half the room was dark, half the room was lighted. That's a cool little design. But I'm going to tell you something. Mm-hmm. Two-Face's dialogue in this scene, that little monologue he gives about chance, whether we live or die. Like that is some deep stuff for a kid's cartoon. I mean, that's a really interesting idea. And I also love the fact that he ends on everything is arbitrary. And I'm sitting here going, that's a 10-cent word, because I'm going to tell you, 10-year-old me did not know what arbitrary meant.
Oh, yeah. Nobody. Yeah. You're like, oh, wow.
I couldn't even understand when I was a kid what the word, like, I didn't even know what the word was that he said. So I could even go and look it up. But I'm watching it today. I'm like, oh, arbitrary. Okay.
Yeah. Now I get it.
Now I get it.
I know what he's going for here. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the way that he explains everything. And then she, of course, he's got half his face covered with like a little like mask thing. And then she, of course, wants to do the whole dramatic thing of like, I want to see you, I love you for you, this whole thing. And when she sees this full on face, of course, tears well up, all that stuff. I mean,
she doesn't faint this time.
She doesn't faint. That's a good sign.
It's a good sign. She's had 6 months to kind of get over it, and now she's ready. And once again, kudos to the writing of Grace. Like this is showing her to be a very strong character. So, which then of course leads to us seeing Min and Max. And I'm like, dude, they're dead.
That's exactly what I thought too. I mean, it's one of those, you've seen it before where it's like they're standing there and then all of a sudden they just fall down.
And look at their eyes, like those are dead eyes.
Yeah,
like,
Rupert Thorne and his guys killed them too
because they fall down. You never see their bodies magically disappear for the rest of the episode. By the way,
exactly.
And like it's not like they fall down and you get the Like you don't hear the grunt, you don't hear the sigh, you don't see them, move. No, I'm sorry, they got away with 2 dead bodies right there.
They really did. I mean, obviously no blood or anything like that, but it's just like that was the first thing I thought too, because I even wrote it right here. I was like, the tracer, and then it says, I said, henchman dead? I put a question mark. And
mine says, are the twins dead? Question mark. Yes.
I'm like, that was a thing I wrote too. So then, of course, Thor and his goons come around, and he goes like, He's like, I wanted to, and then he, again with the puns, I wanted to do this face to face to face. And then it's like he's got that little smirk, like I'm proud of myself for that one. It's like the whole time, like maybe on the ride over or late at night, he's just coming up with like Two-Face puns that he wants to give Harvey, and he's so proud when he does. Gotta love it. He's a man that takes his job seriously.
Absolutely. And I wrote, and literally I made a note about that too. It's really weird now, Dave. Like we don't communicate before the episode, before we talk, and yet our notes are like we're
identical. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little creepy. I'm just saying, like, get out of my head, man. Get out of my head.
I can't quit you. So then we get back in the bat bike. Batman's hurting, of course. But yeah, we get this storm. I mean, that's what I put. I put bat bike through storm. It's like what? Like, yeah, this is the perfect time to get in that Batmobile. First off, you'd probably be a little more comfortable because it's just, you're sitting down. You got some broken or shattered ribs, wherever the hell it is. Better than this being hunched over. It's like that's not gonna do the ribs any good there, Batsy. Man, come on.
I know, and plus you're in, driving in that downpour, seriously? No, windshield wipers. Like,
I know, and it's not like he's just wearing his costume with a helmet. It's not like he's wearing a full on
but notice how no one walks into that club and they're dripping wet. They're all like perfectly dry when they walk in that club. I'm like this is where the animation's like, dude, somebody
address this.
Someone, please, like some raindrops. I don't know, just something.
Yeah.
Then the fight really breaks out. Batman shows up, and it's another one of those like great, like the bad guys find the bad guys. Batman's trying to stop both sides from killing each other. I almost feel like, okay, here's a question I have. Okay. Why was it necessary for Batman to be injured in this episode?
I don't know. It doesn't like, I mean, I guess to slow him down a little bit. I don't know. That's what it felt like. Cause he's struggling to fight during this fight. But again, this is more about what's happening. I mean, it's Harvey and Rupert Thorne, and they go at it. And then even Grace goes at it with Candace. She starts pulling some hair and stuff.
Oh my God. Man. And the image still, I laugh every time when she disappears behind like the safe and like the 2 feet with one of them, like she's lost her shoe and I'm sorry, that looked ridiculous. I know.
Of course. Yeah. So, I mean, it was just kind of cool that she got involved. And then it gets to the scene that we have right here where it's a pretty good scene because we got Batman who's hurt and then he's kind of holding on to Grace. And we got Harvey that's, sees one of the Tommy guns there. And Rupert Thorne where is he stuck? Like, is he stuck with
the chandelier? The chandelier.
Right? Chandelier. Yeah. So he's stuck because he's a big old fat guy. And you know how that is. They getting stuck in chandeliers, and so he's got the gun. He's going to point him. So this is actually the clip that we have because, it's you can kind of tell that just maybe when they were writing Batman Forever, they were like,
oh my God, did Batman Forever totally rip off this episode?
It totally did. Because you'll see what happens right here. Let's see. Boop. There's that beautiful
quarter thingy. Yeah.
You can't let him.
Harvey, what are you doing?
Taking control of my life.
Hey, that's what she wanted, right?
The law.
The law
is the only law. The law of averages.
The law of averages. Equalizer.
Yeah. Yep. Up. We got some coins right here, and even though he's got some broken ribs, he's gonna. There you go. Throw them coins.
And then the royal freak out.
Yes, he
has right now
Oh
badly.
no!
What?
It's gotta be here.
Jeez. She can't even look at him.
I know. Oh, this scene is. I wish the animation had been better.
Yeah.
But the writing and the acting is on point.
Yeah. Poor Harvey.
It's all right now, Harvey. I'm here.
Aw. Tears.
I know. I just wish Grace just didn't completely disappear after this episode.
Yeah, no, she needed to come back. Oh well. But yeah, so then they take away Harvey. And then Babbitt throws the coins, and then it's right on the second page. They take Harvey in, and then Batman and Gordon are talking off, of course, in the distance, in the shadows. So because that's usually where they have their conversations. And then he says, "Well, where there's love, there's hope." And then he
and that score.
Yes,
The score.
Oh, you know what? We might as I think there's a rest of that clip. Let's just watch it. I'm like, might as well, because like you said, the score, and then when he flips the coin into the fountain.
Wishing fountain, yeah.
Yeah. So taking him off and that big carrier that they put the bags in.
But you got a guy who shows he's going to Arkham because he's wearing the white coat.
It's true. It's very true.
Where there's love, there's hope, Commissioner.
Yeah. Which we hear this score throughout.
Yes.
I think we heard it the last time when he was at the cemetery visiting his
at the end of the Scarecrow episode, I think.
Yeah. And it is kind of cool how like his reflection went out and then came back in like that. That was pretty good. That's pretty good. At least the animation was pretty decent right there. But yeah, so there you go. There is
this writing wise, part one, part two. This is top tier. This is upper tier Batman the Animated Series.
Totally is. I mean, what we've always talked about is how they appreciate and how much they did with their villains right here. Even like my mom watching these episodes. I mean, she might have loosely watched them way back then, but she's actually really enjoying how they are now. Last time I talked to her, she was going, man, I never knew all this about Two-Face and this, that, and this. I'm like, yeah, they do stuff very well. I mean, the next ones that we're going to be getting is Mr. Freeze and Clayface, that we really dive into those. I mean, we already got Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, and then of course now we got Two-Face, and then we're going to be diving into two-parter for Clayface, and then of course Heart of Ice.
Heart of Ice is actually only 3 away.
3 away. Oh, we're getting close. What's the next one, by the way?
Oh, the next one's a goodie. It's Never Too Late.
Never Too Late. Clock King?
No. It's the introduction of Stromwell. It's a mob episode.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I remember. No, which one?
This is an episode that I never really appreciated that much as a kid. And then when I rewatched it as an adult, I went, dude, they did this on a kid's cartoon. Like, we're going to talk about drug addiction, mob, faith, like it's like a Scorsese movie in a Batman episode. It's some serious stuff, and it's a favorite of mine personally. Like you talked about how much you enjoy The Forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
It's Never Too Late is one of those that I go, no one really talks about it, but when you bring it up and you got fans, we all go, oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to dive into that one again, because I'm like fuzzy on it right now, thinking about it. I'm like, I know which episode you're talking about, but as soon as I click it on, I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna be one of those.
Yeah.
That's going to be good. So make sure you guys check that one out this week. We'll, I think next week we'll be back on regular time right now.
Maybe, possibly.
I don't think there's any birthdays or things happening next week. So I think we'll be at the regular time at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So anything else you have with this episode?
I think we've said everything there is to say. It's a good one, and it was fun to talk to. I hope everyone enjoyed the special guest for like the first 2/3 of the episode. Sorry for everyone who's listening to it audio only, and all of a sudden you get a Calamsaurus.
Yeah. Nah, it adds to it. Adds to the stream right there. But like I said, with me, it's a great episode, even though it's a pretty crazy time jump, but it really delves deeper into the psyche of Batman, dealing with somebody else who, there's a connection that they both have, being like the dual personality kind of thing.
And the dichotomy, it's real. I mean,
it's just a little more drastic with Harvey.
Yeah.
But I really do like that scene though, when wakes up from the nightmare and you see that he's been just stressing about the psychology of all this stuff, and you see it all laid out, and then he has that little monologue that he says out loud to Harvey. It's pretty good stuff. So there you have it, guys. That is part 2 of Two-Face. And like I said, next week will be normal time, and we'll be watching, what's the episode called again?
It's Never Too Late.
It's Never Too Late. And I'm sure we're gonna have a lot to say about that. So go ahead and plug yourself, Scott.
Well, of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27. You can find my podcast, the DC Film Squadcast, wherever podcasts can be found. You can also find us on Vero, Facebook, YouTube, and the entire network of shows at squadcastmedia.com. I'm here every Saturday with Dave talking Batman on the Fan-imated stream. And don't forget to check out Wonder Meg, where we will hopefully in the next week be picking back up with chapter by chapter of Dune.
There you go. I think she even showed up in the chat right there. Everybody's saying hi to her. So hi, Meg. And yeah, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, thumbs up, hit that notification bell so you know when I'm doing this stuff. And then you want to hit that join button if you want to become a member, or you can support the channel by joining the Patreon, which I wanted to do a Patreon stream this week, but we're going to have to push it to next week because of everything that's happening, holiday weekend and all. And then, of course, merchandise down below. All right, guys, we appreciate you clicking in, and we'll see you at the regular Bat Time and the regular, of course, Bat channel next week. We will talk to you later.